The Tangled Butterfly by Peter Pan. Once upon a time, a butterfly was flying with her friends happily, until she flew into a thread of a spider's web accidentally. She tried to free herself, but the more she struggled, the more tenaciously the threads of the web wrapped around her, making her dangle in thin air helplessly. She called to her friends frantically, and eventually they came to see. One suggested the butterfly not take the issue so seriously, saying, "Well, a similar thing happened to me, but I did some deep breathing, and once I'd relaxed, the threads of the issue stopped constricting me and fell off naturally." "I agree," said another. "You need to approach this issue with more gratitude and positivity. I mean, you are trapped, but there's no spider coming to eat you, as it did with Lucy. You should feel grateful that things are not worse. You should feel relieved and lucky." Another flew by and responded similarly, saying, "The more you worry at the threads, the more they will consume you. Try distracting yourself with a hobby or TV. Eventually you will see that the threads are not as bad as you're making them out to be." However, another disagreed, saying, "No, you are not trying hard enough. You are either weak, attention-seeking, or lazy. Something like this would never happen to me, as I am strong and resilient and face obstacles with bravery." And so it became clear to the butterfly that she was not dealing with her predicament properly. She simply lacked all the qualities she needed to set herself free. She lacked the strength, resilience, gratitude, positivity, flexibility, and ingenuity to escape captivity. Consequently, the butterfly stopped asking for help, telling herself, "It's bad enough to already be dangling helplessly. I really do not need others to come and lecture me on how I'm making them uncomfortable by crying unattractively. I'll accept my fate and wait for the spiders to come and eat me. If I take deep yoga breaths and think positively, maybe I'll be lucky and they'll quickly put me out of my misery." However, as the butterfly dangled helplessly, she heard a polite cough and looked up to see a firefly hovering in front of her, its warning lights flashing brightly. "Oh dear," said the firefly, "I can see you are in desperate need of help. Let me see what I can do to help you set yourself free." But instead of shouting instructions and pulling on the threads haphazardly, the firefly settled next to the butterfly and said, "Let's have a cup of tea, while you tell me the full, unabridged story of how you got wrapped up in this web so tightly." "Well," said the butterfly, "I've always found life tricky, but despite working hard, I've never flown high, fast, or carefree. I've always been lost and confused, hitting branches constantly. I'm not surprised I got caught in a spider's web. I think it has always been my destiny." As the butterfly spoke, the firefly examined each thread individually, gently unpicking each tangle as the butterfly recounted the corresponding knot in her life history. "Actually," replied the firefly, "as I unpick these threads, I can see that they're a tangle of unmanageable thoughts and memories that you simply could not unpick independently. Ouch! This one looks painful. Oh no, this one feels scary." "Thank you for believing me," sobbed the butterfly. "As much as I craved support and empathy, validation was the most important thing for me." "I agree," replied the firefly. "You were not looking for pity. Your mind and emotions felt disorganized and messy, and you needed support to straighten things out. But you also wished to retain your dignity. When I looked at the threads of your problems, I could see you were exhausted and scared, unsupported and invalidated, marginalized and isolated. It is no surprise that you struggled constantly. Nevertheless, you've managed magnificently. Now that the worst is behind you, I've made a gift to comfort you. I've woven a cloak from the threads of your difficulties. It will be a reminder, not only of all the struggles you've been through, but also of all the things that did not defeat you. It's not a cloak of tragedy, but rather a cloak of victory, as you were trapped, but now you are free. So let's get rid of the darkness and isolation completely. You can light fireworks, whilst I flash my tail light happily." The end. Thank you for watching. This video was written, illustrated and narrated by Peter Pan. Please like and subscribe.